Welcome students. Hope you remember in our last lecture we have dealt with rotational stiffness. That is when we apply rotation at A in clockwise and anticlockwise direction, as well as when we apply rotation at B in clockwise and anticlockwise direction, what are the forces that are required to cause this rotation, or in other words, what are the forces that will be required when we apply the rotations at end A and end B. At the end of the previous lecture, I have promised that next lecture we will discuss about translational stiffness. That is what will happen if I translate end A and end B upwards and downwards. So let us consider those case number 5, 6, 7 and 8. These are case number 1, 2, 3, 4. Case number 1 was when we applied clockwise rotation at A. Case number 2 when we applied anticlockwise rotation at A. Case number 3 when we applied clockwise rotation at B. Case number 4 when we applied anticlockwise rotation at B. Now let us consider about translational stiffness, that is case number 5, 6, 7 and 8. So again same principle, consider case number 5, that is a beam AB which is fixed having length L and flexural rigidity EI. EI is flexural rigidity of the beam. AB, flexural rigidity of the beam. Now what will happen if I displace this end A downwards? End A is fixed. If I displace it downwards like this, if I apply the deflection delta A, if I apply the deflection delta A in downward direction, what are the various forces that will be required to cause this deflection? Or for understanding to undergraduate level, what will be the forces that will be generated for by this deflection delta A? The first force that will be generated will be the force which is in the same direction of deflection, and the magnitude of the force is 12 EI upon L cube delta A. This force will be in the same direction as that of deflection. If the deflection is downwards, then the force at A will also be acting in a downward direction, and magnitude of this force will be 12 EI upon L cube at A. And to counterbalance it, there must be the second force of the magnitude 12 EI upon L cube into delta A, which is acting in upward direction. At end A, deflection is downwards, deflection delta A is downwards. That's why the force acting must be acting in downward direction. And to counterbalance it, since we want summation of Fy equal to 0, to counterbalance it, this 12 Vi by L cube into delta A will be acting in upward direction. Now friends, these two forces will cause anti-clockwise rotation of the structure. These two forces, if we allow this couple to act on beam AB, we know this will cause an anti-clockwise rotation, and we want the beam AB to be in static equilibrium. That's why we must apply the clockwise moments of 6 EI upon L square into delta A and 6 EI upon L square into delta A. What is the logic behind applying this clockwise moment? This couple is trying to create anti-clockwise rotation of AB, which we don't want. We want the structure to be in static equilibrium, and that is why we must apply a clockwise moment of 6 EI upon L square into delta A and same 6 EI upon L square into delta A. Now let us check whether this diagram satisfies all the conditions of equilibrium, that is summation fx equal to 0, summation fy equal to 0 and summation m equal to 0, as we have checked it for all our previous cases. The first case, summation fx equal to 0, is it satisfying summation fx equal to 0? As we have seen, there is no force in x direction, so summation fx equal to 0 is satisfied automatically. Summation fy equal to 0. What is the force acting? This is the downward force acting, 12 EI by L cube. This is the upward force acting of the same magnitude. So 12 EI by L cube downwards and 12 EI by L cube upwards. So summation forces in y direction is also equal to 0. Now let us consider the moment acting at A. At A, the moment is 6 EI by L square clockwise plus this 6 EI by L square clockwise. Moment will not be multiplied with the distance, so moment is moment. So moment added will be 12 EI by L square into delta A acting in clockwise direction at A. Now What is the moment due to this reaction? 12 by L cube. 12 by L cube into delta A into L, which is acting in anti-clockwise direction. So what is the total moment acting at A? 12 by L cube delta A, this 6 and this 6, 12 by L square minus 12 by L square, L cube into L, that will be 12 by L square. So total sum of moment acting at A is equal to 0. Similarly, we can say total sum of moment acting at B is also equal to 0. So this diagram satisfies all the conditions of static equilibrium. So this is a balanced diagram and this is a possible diagram. So this is the diagram that gives us the picture of what will happen when we apply unit deflection at A in downward direction. When we apply unit deflection at A in downward direction, what will be the forces that will be generated, or what are the forces that are required to cause unit deflection of A in downward direction is given by this diagram. Now, next case, as we have seen in rotation deflection, next case, case number 6 is another example, beam AB, and as all of you must have judged, this time I am providing deflection delta A upwards. This time I am providing deflection delta A in upward direction. So what are the various forces that will be generated by this upward deflection? The first force that will be generated is 12 EI upon L cube into delta A in upward direction. In previous case, since the deflection was in downward direction, our force was also acting in downward direction. In this case, since the deflection is in upward direction, our force also must be acting in upward direction. And to counterbalance at B, 12 EI upon L cube into delta A is the force that will be acting in downward direction. So 12 EI by L cube into delta A, 12 EI by L cube into delta A, these two are the forces that will be required. Is that all? No, all of us know that's not all. We require set of moments to counterbalance it, because if we allow these forces to act, only these forces to act, they will try to rotate this beam in clockwise direction, and which is not a good sign, because we want this structure in static equilibrium. So they will try to rotate in clockwise direction. So there must be a set of anti-clockwise moments of the magnitude 6 EI by L square into delta A and 6 EI by L square into delta A. Now let us check whether this structure satisfies all the conditions of static equilibrium. Yes, summation of fx, summation of fy and summation of m. There is no x, so summation of fx is satisfied naturally. Summation of fy, 12 upon L cube, 12 EI by L cube upwards, 12 EI by L cube downwards, so summation of fy at this structure is 0. And let us consider a moment acting at A. What is the moment? 6 EI upon L square delta A anticlockwise plus this 6 EI upon L square, so total will constitute 12 EI by L square anticlockwise, and this 12 EI by L cube into L, this is the length L, 12 EI by L cube into L will be 12 EI by L square, so both will be balanced. So summation of moment at A and at B are balanced. One can check, students can check whether the summation of moments at B is equal to 0, and let me know whether you are getting some difficulty in doing summation of moments acting at B is equal to 0. So summation of moments at A and summation of moments at B is equal to 0. So in that structure we are getting all the conditions of static equilibrium satisfied. So this is the classic case when we have given the downward deflection at A and upward deflection at A. Now you must have judged it correct that seventh case will be what will happen if we provide downward deflection at A and B. There will be 8 cases in all. Downward deflection at A and B. If we provide downward deflection at A and B, let us say this delta B, we have provided it downwards. Now what will happen? What are the forces that will be required to cause this downward deflection? The first force at B will be 12 EI upon L cube into delta B, that is required to cause this deflection downwards, and since this is downwards, this is 12 EI by L cube into delta B. All of you must have judged all of you must have identified the logic behind all these cases. If the deflection is downwards, this force must be downwards, and in our earlier cases, case number 1 to 4, if the rotation is clockwise, the moment must be clockwise. So in this case, if the deflection is downward, this force must be acting in downward direction. So 12 EI by L cube delta B, 12 EI by L cube delta B, these two are acting in clockwise direction. These two will try to rotate the structure in clockwise direction. So there must be a set of anti-clockwise moments of the magnitude 6 EI upon L square into delta B, and here also 6 EI upon L square into delta B. Now all of you must have judged this structure satisfies all the conditions of static equilibrium, summation of fx equal to 0, summation of fy equal to 0, and summation of m is equal to 0, right? This structure satisfies all the conditions of static equilibrium. Let us consider the last case, that is case number 8, when we are providing upward deflection to joint B. Let us say we are providing the upward deflection to joint B, delta B upwards. We are providing upward deflection to joint B. So what are the various forces that will be generated, or what are the various forces that will be required to cause this upward deflection at joint B? The first force, all of you must have judged the logic by now, that is, if this deflection is upward, this force also must be acting upwards, and magnitude of the force is 12 EI by L cube into delta B, and if this is upwards, this must be acting downwards. So 12 EI by L cube into delta B, that is the force acting at A downwards. Now these two forces will try to rotate in anti-clockwise direction, and that is why to balance it, there must be a set of clockwise moments having 6 EI upon L square into delta B and 6 EI upon L square into delta B. Friends, you must have remembered the logic, you must have judged the logic properly. Length is L. You must have judged the logic properly for all the cases. Let me revise. What is the first case? First case was rotation of A in clockwise direction. Second case, rotation of A in anti-clockwise direction. Third case, rotation of B in clockwise direction. The fourth case, rotation of B in anti-clockwise direction. The fifth case, we have seen what will happen when we give translation at A downwards. Sixth case, we have seen what will happen when we give translation of A upwards. In the seventh case, we have seen what will happen if the translation of B is downwards. And in eighth case, we have seen what will happen in translation of B is downwards. Remembering these 8 diagrams is extremely very important for stiffness analysis. If you remember these 8 diagrams very well, then again I must tell you that analysis using stiffness method is a cakewalk for you. It's very simple thing for you if you remember these 8 diagrams and the logic behind these 8 diagrams. I hope I have made the logic very clear, and I hope you remember the logic. You practice these 8 diagrams as many times as possible, and next time whenever we meet, we will take up one numerical from actual stiffness analysis of the structure. So this is all prerequisite for your stiffness analysis. This is all we need to know beforehand before we actually touch the topic of stiffness analysis. I hope you have understood it well. All your doubts and queries are most welcome. Thank you.